You guys already know this the main one, tapping in all the way from H-Town, Houston, Texas. I'm here with my boy T.A.G.
T.A.G.
T.A.G, very nice, very evil.
Yeah, that's T.A.G shit.
The only thing we're gonna do is take over, baby.
Free fall as I dive through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta remind myself that I'm fine. Mama.
What it is, what it was, and what it do, T.A.G Nation. Welcome to another episode of NXT.A.G with your boy 2x2 belt Scoop. And you know, this is that specialty episode because I'm gonna weave in Deadline and tonight's NXT all into one big special. So let's get it started. So Deadline kicked off with the NXT Championship with Richard Saints defending against Oba Femi. Look at y'all. Richard tried. And you can just hear from where I'm going with this. Richard tried, but Oba told him, this ain't the ruler you beat. This ain't the Oba you beat. This is a man who went home, got focused. This is a man who's with all the determination in the world is coming at you, big dog. And a little more fuel to the fire. Both Richard and Oba were on SmackDown, and the winner of said match will be taking on Cody Raheem Rhodes at Saturday night's main event. So this is even more pressure. But yeah, and as far as pressure, Oba applied so much pressure. Like, he just was relentless against Richard. Ultimately, Richard was in one corner, Oba was in another corner. They charged at each other. Oba hit him with that fall from grace. It was like a pop-up kind of style fall from grace. 1, 2, 3, and new NXT champion Oba Femi for the second time. The ruler is on top of NXT. He joins a list, I think they said 8 other men. I think it was 8 others who held the NXT championship twice. I'm not going to try to repeat them all because I don't remember. So just throw it out there. I'm pretty sure I can round off a few, but I'm not going to try, y'all. Just know Oba's in the list. So Oba's in the list. Now, like I said, I have to weave. So Oba and Richard started the show. Mainly Oba. He come out there to basically kind of say that, hey, I told y'all, you know, the ruler is back. And Richard comes out there and was like, yeah, you got me, but you know, I'm not gonna quit. I'm not going to just take my L and just go on about my business. So they get interrupted by the winner of this match. Now, the one thing that I said, this Iron Survivor match is a very exciting complex, a very exciting concept. I really do not want WWE to take this. WWE took the fight pit, only had it once, never seen it since. WWE took War Games from NXT, and War Games has been hit and miss. I do not want them to take Iron Survivor from NXT. This needs to stay here. Pardon me for that pause. This needs to stay on NXT. For those who are unfamiliar, 2 opponents start off. After every 5 minutes, a new opponent comes in to all 5. The winner is, after 25 minutes, be the man or woman with the most pinfall victories. Now, if you get pinned or submitted, you gotta go to the penalty box for a minute and a half. And the 2 winners will get their title shots at New Year's Eve. For the last 2 up to a minute, all 5 men were tied. And that boy Javon snuck in a pin on Miles Bourne with like 5 seconds left, got the dub, and yes, Javon is your 2025 Men's Iron Survivor. So he comes out, gets in, pretty much he gets in Oba's face, and Javon had told Ricky that at a deadline that if he wins, he's necessarily not going to wait to New Year's Evil. He's going to just go for it. So pretty much he's like, Oba, I want my title shot tonight. Like, I understand you beat me, but I'm still amped up. I'm still, fired up off my dub. I want my title shot tonight. And Ricky was like, yo, you sure? Like, you sure you want that title shot tonight, G? Like, why don't you, you know what I'm saying, let it simmer a little bit and wait to New Year's Evil? And Javon was like, nah, fam, I'm getting tired of people telling me I'm the future. I'm the right now. I want my title shot tonight. Ava did make it official, so the main event of NXT was Obafemi defending his NXT championship against Javon Evans, but we will get to that at the end. Now, let's get to the women's Iron Survivor from this past Saturday. Kalani Jordan, Women Evolve champion Kendall Gray, Lola Vice, Jordan Grace, and So Ruka. And theirs Iron Survivor was first. And when I tell you these ladies had set a tone, they set a tone. They was not playing around. Not only were they not playing around, but they had like pretty high counts. I wanted to say, I think the winning pin was like pin 4, pin 5. Like, the ladies was doing it. Ultimately, at the very end, Kendall Gray snuck out the dub. Now, I'm intrigued on Kendall Gray. And I'm intrigued on Kendall Gray because you definitely see the push that they're giving her. Her being Evolve champion, her being in the Women's Iron Survivor, her winning the Women's Iron Survivor and getting a title shot against JC at New Year's Evil. So they definitely see something in Kendall because the push is looking real. The push is looking real. But in the process of the match, Kalani Jordan and Jordan Grace's beef spilled over to where they was just on the outside of the ring fighting while the time expired, which leads to our first match of the evening, the grudge match, Kalani, Jordan Grace. And they just had to just, duke it out. They just had to just duke it out. Like, and it wasn't a bad match. I'm not mad at the fact that they want Kalani heel, but at the same time, Kalani's heelness. You know what? Let me rewind. If they really wanted to truly stand on Kalani's heelness, they should have made her the female Carmella. They really should have leaned into her. I know they're engaged and everything. How Carmella was him. They should have really leaned into, Lonnie being her and, really this overblown ego. The fact that she was TNA and knockout. Like, they should have really just kind of leaned more into some things. But it's not the fact that she's not believable as a heel. It's just, you look at Kalani and you're really like, really? She's the heel type of energy. And that's my issue I have, is that you truly look at her and you're like, nah, not her. She was like a sweetheart. You know what I'm saying? But the closing moments of this match, Jordan's frustration and rage and anger tried to grab a chair. Now, I didn't see exactly what happened, but something happened to where as the chair was being taken, I think, by the ref, I think Lonnie pushed Jordan into the barricades, which caused the barricade break. Then Lonnie gets her in the ring, moonsault, 1, 2, 3, Kalani gets the dub. Now, a little bit later, as the women was getting ready for Blake Monroe's open challenge, Thea Hale was trying to give Jordan Grace some advice by saying, you know, don't take it too hard. You know, pretty much like, you got this. And she was like, am I taking advice from a 16-year-old? And she was like, I'm 22 and I've been here for 4 years. So I'm a grizzled veteran, like, you know, myself, like that. So, but we'll see what happens. We'll see where this is going to take Jordan Grace's character. You know, the fact that she keeps quote unquote losing the big ones. We'll see where this takes her character. Then we get the open challenge that Blake Monroe has, and they should have. I forgot which NXT wrestler was doing the open challenge, and all the men was like fighting on the ramp to get to the ring. They should have did something like that, because you had all the women. When Jordan Grace was walking back to the back, you had all the women geared up and ready to hit the ring. And then it was like they was being stopped by the referees and security as if they was about to go just maul Blake. And they should have did the whole thing with having them fight in the entrance ramp to see who was going to take it. But Thea Hale slid in the ring, put the Kimura lock on Blake. Blake taps. And I don't know if it was she was doing it for real or it was a weird miscommunication, but Thea Hale's throwing up her arms like she won, and it was like no bell rang. So pretty much they just threw the match out. Blake was on the outside. She was staring up at all the women. Fast forward later, Blake is in Ava's office, and she was like, there was so many women trying to vie for this title. And then she was like, I'm not doing any more open challenges. No more. And then, Ava was like, yeah, okay, sure. Then it led to pretty much Ava saying, well, you're going to defend your championship next week against Thea Hale. So we're going to get Blake Monroe and Thea Hale for the Women's North American Championship next week. Then we get the debut of Shiloh Hill. He is the men's season 2 winner of LFG. He is taking on Lexus King. Shiloh's going to be a fun watch. My thing is that with the way he's introduced, the way his entrance, and the way he acts, I don't necessarily know what his character fully is yet. And I really want them to kind of, I don't want to say tell us, but kind of figure out exactly what is his character. Because like I was thinking he was supposed to be like some type of sleeper or something. Like I don't know. Like it was kind of a weird thing, but he pretty much beats Lexus. He gets the dub. And I guess one of his gimmicks is, since he has the fake tooth with the retainer, that he's going to pull it out, and then once he pulls out the tooth, you know, he's really turned up. But nonetheless, now it's going to be interesting that the two winners of LFG are some big boys, and Jasper Troy and Shiloh. So it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to work out. Now, another thing I did forget earlier in the show, we did have Tatum versus Izzy Dame. We know Izzy betrayed Tatum, which caused Tatum to lose the NXT Women's Championship. So Tatum was out for revenge against Deadline. Ultimately, she gets distracted by Spears and the Barbies, which end up causing Izzy to get the dub. But matter of fact, hold on. I'm gonna play it one more time. That's how I felt. I can see why they made the booking decision of Izzy beating Tatum, But yeah. So Tatum does have a segment on the show, and she's pretty much saying she has nothing to lose now, but you do. So it sounds like she's gonna try to take out Nico and try to take out Spears to where it's just Izzy by herself. Then she can finally get her revenge on Izzy. So that's what it was pretty much kind of sounding like when it came to Tatum's plan. Then we get over talking backstage, getting ready for his match, and he was pretty much saying that, hey, come Saturday night's main event, I'm gonna beat the American Nightmare. I'm about to beat Javon, and I'm gonna do over things. Pretty much, I'm gonna do over things. Also, what went down? Ethan Page took on Mr. Iguana for the North American Championship. It was a good match. This was one of those matches, like I say before, I did not feel the title was going to change. It was just a good showing of Mr. Iguana. He's a fun character. Ethan did take the NXT.A.G championship off of him, but Ethan ultimately gets the dub. So Ethan is in the ring kind of celebrating. He's pretty much saying he's the greatest North American. He's pretty much the greatest champion in NXT and pretty much all of WWE. The lights go out, and who but shows up? Tony D'Angelo. Tony D'Angelo did show up at the end of the men's Survivor match when he spine busted Javon. We don't know why, but that wasn't discussed. But he seemed to turn his attention to Ethan Page because he spine busted Ethan Page, and boom. Then later, pretty much after commercial break, Ethan Page, let me rewind. Ava is in the office with Dion Lennox, Joe Hendry, Miles Bourne, and Leon Slater, and they're pretty much saying, hey, all four of us was tied. So Ava was like, all right, I hear you. Main event of next week will have those four men in a fatal four-way, and the winner takes on whoever's the champ at New Year's Evil. Ethan Page bars in, and he's like, Tony D hasn't been at work for this and another. He could just come in and attack me and and rah, 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 and Ethan Page things. So yeah. Next we do get the match between Ren and Sol Ruka. That kind of took place a little bit after the women's Iron Survivor, since Sol Ruka came up short. Ren and her kind of had words, and boom, here we are. You know how NXT do, you have a few crosswords, and then boom, now you in a whole beef with somebody, and you like, wait, how did we get here? Type energy. But nonetheless, it was not a bad match. It was just kind of one of them things to where, like, let's face it, we knew who was going to come out on top. I know, bad picture, but it's from the website itself for the moment. But Ren was going for something. She eats the soul snatcher. Zarya was in the audience to see, and then after Ren leaves, she chases Zarya. And I'm gonna go ahead and tell you their conclusion before I get to the rest of the conclusion. So she catches Zarya in the parking lot, and she's like, "Hey, like, what's up?" And she was like, "I was coming out there to support." She was in the audience, like she wasn't at the ramp, but she was like in the audience. She was like, "I was coming out there to support, and I just didn't want to leave you by yourself." And she was like, "I appreciate it, thank you." Then, it kind of led to Soul wanting Zarya to accompany her with Saturday night's main event. So they're trying to get their friendship back. Then, to harken back to this, remember I said Kendall Gray was the winner. Well, Kendall Gray, of course, was out there with Ren. And after the match, Fatal Influence comes out. And pretty much, JC and Kendall was trading, barbs back and forth. ultimately it led to a 3-on-2 brawl. Ultimately, 3-on-2 brawl, and we'll see what comes of it, because at New Year's Evil we will get Kendall Gray taking on JC Jane for that women's NXT championship. Then we get another recap of the Belly Boys, you know, Hank and Tank, when they went to Japan and had their little tour. They was back, and pretty much they was talking, and then OTM comes up and was like, we don't care. Like, we don't care. And pretty much OTM Belly Boys next week, because it was just like, you know, we want a piece of that action, you know what I'm saying? Y'all talk about y'all's time in Japan, y'all talking about all of this. Like, nah, we trying to be about that action boss type of energy. So yeah, we getting OTM and them Belly Boys next week. Then we get to our main event of the evening. Big Oba defending his NXT championship against the men's Iron Survivor winner and Javon Evans. Now, one thing that I can appreciate is that they did give this match a little bit of time, but once again, they still playing with fire with that 9 o'clock cutoff time. So it was like you're watching the match and you just know, like you know, at some point it has to quote unquote hurry up, because 9 o'clock show is off. Well, Javon was giving it his all. Like, Javon did everything in his power. The first move, he hit Oba with a bicycle knee, and when I tell you, it almost looked like the ref was counting 3. My goodness, that was a close one. But Javon fought. Oba, of course, a certain dominance, and then Javon got hot. Javon was hitting Oba with the arsenal. He quote unquote unloaded the clip on Big Oba. Then he hit his patented cutters. 1, 2, and then the ref gets yanked out the ring. And who yanks the ref? Richard Saints. Let that sink in. Dick Satanis, as Lip Dizzle calls him, yanked the ref out the ring, and the crowd was not happy. Then Javon dives on Richard, but unfortunately, Big Oba had enough to truly come back. Yeah. Oba hits that fall from grace and everything. And 1, 2, 3. Oba retains, y'all. Breaking all the collective hearts because Javon used his opportunity tonight instead of waiting to New Year's Evil. So it was like, damn. Not them doing Javon like that, though. But yeah, so Oba retains. And then the lasting image of the night was Oba and Ricky kind of staring each other down. And it was like, that's cold, Rick. That's some cold work that you just did to the young OG like that. Now, what is special about Saturday night's main event is that not only is it John Cena taking on Gunther, but we have some specialty matches of the present taking on the future. One match, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to have Bayley taking on Sol Ruka, and this is the match that, you know, Sol Ruka wants Zarya at. Another one, unfortunately, he didn't get the job done, but we got Javon Evans and Leon Slater taking on AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. And like I mentioned earlier, Cody Rhodes is taking on Big Oba. Mr. No Bed, No Water, just me. So yes, not only are we getting John Cena's final match, but we getting kind of this past and present and future matchups as well. So I'm excited about Saturday night's main event. Like, I remember, because it was kind of like, okay, we're building it around John Cena's last match. That's fair. 1,000% fair. I mean, it's Jonathan Anthony Felix Jr. from West Newbury, Massachusetts. So it's totally fair for to them to quote unquote make it all about him. But to now add the thing of the present taking on the future. Oh yeah, sign me up for that. Like, I am here for that idea, and I'm definitely here to see how this match is going to go. More than anything, I'm really excited to see how this match is going to go. But yeah, folks, that was Deadline, the Fallout to Deadline, and even previews to Saturday night's main event. So whether you love it, hate it, don't forget to rate it thumbs up, thumbs down, like, comment, share it, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell after you subscribe, or if you haven't already, so you can be notified for when we post videos. Thank y'all for tuning in. Shout out to the T.A.G brethren and people out there. Love yourself, love one another, take care of yourself, and take care of one another. Until next time, you beautiful, beautiful, beautiful people out there, don't forget to tag out.
Free fall as I die through the kaleidoscope in my mind. No rope up to climb. Gotta